shooter. They don't know for sure, but appears the one suspect that they were looking for, at least one suspect or one person we know is dead here at the scene. And again, it appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So with that being said, once they confirm there's no longer a threat, the fire department will move in. We should be getting more information. And then, of course, the long-playing investigation and exactly why this individual would do this. At this point, as you mentioned, one firefighter shot and killed, another one, multiple gunshot wounds at Henry Mayo Hospital. We pray for him that he's going to be okay and survive those injuries. But at this point, they're not approaching the home yet, but we do believe the suspect is dead at the scene, and we do believe it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Show the house, Jamie. The Air Rescue 5 is right over top. It looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, we're pretty good. No, Ellen, it's right in the middle of the home. Our angle is such that we don't want folks to actually see it. It's very graphic. But there's what appeared to be like a lap pool that did not have water in it. And on the bottom of that lap pool, we could tell there was a body of a man. So that's the information we have. We believe that is a suspect. It appeared that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But there's a lot that we still don't know. We understand that LA County Sheriff's deputies will make an approach. They're going to do that slowly, though, because there's a lot that they just don't know at this point in time. They're still trying to piece things together. They know who this suspect is. They're probably talking to the family. They're probably trying to see exactly what this individual's profile is. Before they approach the home, they have to get a tactical team together because they do want to take precautions here in case there were booby traps, in case there is another suspect. I mean, we don't believe that that is the case, but you just never know. So you see on the left side of your screen, there's Sheriff's Air Rescue 5. They made a low approach just moments ago, and it looks like they're going to rappel down some of the SWAT team members, and they are slowly going to go into that home. They're going to clear it. Once they've cleared that and the surrounding area, then they're going to let the fire department in, and they'll put the fire out. So a lot goes into this. It's not as easy as just running into this house. Now that they know that someone is dead on the grounds, they still have to take precautions. And right now it's going to be the Special Weapons and Tactical Unit, or the SEB, the Special Enforcement Bureau from the LA County Sheriff's Department, that is going to be in charge of this. We'll go back to the home itself. And it really is not spreading. We don't have a lot of wind at this point in time. and you can tell the fire's been burning on what would be the eastern edge of that home for some time, and it doesn't appear to be taking off or threatening any other structures or even getting onto some of the brush. There's a lot of good brush clearance here. You don't see a lot of heavy fuel next to the house, so that is good as far as the fire is concerned. But right now, they're just getting together a tactical plan. Open up again, Jamie, and you can see Sheriff's Air Rescue 5 on the top of your screen, and they're really just trying to get an assessment of exactly what they're going to be dealing with when the SWAT team members come up and approach that house. We haven't, and I'm not certain if they will do that or not, if they'll take LA County fire helicopter and make a water drop on this. It's unclear if that may be part of the plan at this point in time. It doesn't appear to be spreading, so they may be looking at this as just a matter of time. The fire will burn itself out, and then slowly they'll move in and try and clear the home, and then it'll be that long playing investigation to try and figure out exactly why this happened. Yeah. Go to the left, Jamie, see if you can find a bear cat. There it is. Yeah, it's fine. Do you want SkyMap back up? We had it up. Bring it up, Jamie. It doesn't show anything, but you got it. No, I got it. Let's go a little further south. So we look right down this street. North, I mean. We'll right down that street to the south. You turn now. If you line up with the street, we'll stop. The holder right here. I think so. That far away shouldn't be a concern. Hold it right here. Okay, do what you can to stay in this spot. Just go around a little circles. Okay. All right, we'll do that now. Just open up and come down so you see some of the streets down there. Okay. Bent. All right, copy. Okay. They come back to me, Jamie. I'll have you push into the house and talk about how it appears to be a brick or a concrete structure. That's why it's not taken off. And then we'll just look at the SEB guy. If you see a LA County Sheriff or fire helicopter coming in to make a drop, you let us know. You think that's stucco? Almost looks like stone or something. Hard to tell. Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned the structure itself, and it does appear to be somewhat built out of possibly concrete or stone, and that may be one of the reasons that the fire hasn't taken off. We did hear that LA County Fire may come in with one of their helicopters and make a drop, but certainly time is on the side of the Sheriff's Department at this point in time. We'll show you behind the Bearcat. They are mobilizing. They'll be approaching that long driveway off Bent Spur. Here in a moment, they will approach the home. You can see the SEB, Special Enforcement Bureau deputies are now getting ready to do that. They make multiple flyovers with Sheriff's Air Rescue 5 and an LAPD helicopter to try and assess the situation. We'll give you a wide shot, give you a little perspective. There's a long driveway off Bent Spur here on the southern portion of Acton, and they're going to have to go up on that driveway. The fire doesn't appear to be much of a concern. It sort of just burned itself out on the eastern edge of that home. There's good brush clearance. There's no wind today per se, so it doesn't look like the fire is much of a concern at all. Earlier we could see the body of what appeared to be a man. Right in the center of your screen there's a little what would be some sort of water feature, maybe a lap pool, and on the bottom of there we could see a man, and it appeared that he may have taken his own life because we didn't see any sheriff's deputies up into this area. So we'll go back into the Bearcat once again. Since time is on their side, they're going to take their time at this point. I don't know that they need to evacuate any of the other structures now that they know or they believe that the suspect is no longer a threat, but certainly you just don't know. So they're setting up a plan. They should be approaching the home sometime soon, but it doesn't appear that the fire itself is much of a threat, and that, of course, gives the fire department and the police department, the sheriff's department here, a little extra time. They don't have to worry too much about that. We'll give you one more wide shot here and just sort of give you a little perspective. We're shooting to the south. We're on the north side of the incident, if you will. There's an LAPD helicopter there assisting, and you see there's not much in the way of that fire. It sort of burned itself out. That is good news. They don't have to concern themselves much about a spread. They just have to get the sheriff's deputies in there, and they have to clear the home and make certain there's no longer a threat. It's hard to say. They may have already contacted any other family members that may have lived at that location. They may have information, from a relative of the individual that they believe is the shooter in this case, and they may be able to surmise that no one else is inside that home this time of day. Or they could have different information. We don't know at this point in time, but you can be certain there are a lot of deputies trying to get as much information as they can possibly get to make this operation, as they approach the home, as safe as possible, whether it's just that suspect who's killed himself, if that's the case, or there's another suspect possibly, maybe the information that he was a good friend with someone else who was also somewhat distraught or upset with the fire department. A lot of information they have to try and get before they put more people in jeopardy here and they approach the home. But they will be doing it soon. If there's any good news as far as the operation is concerned, we'll give you that wide shot once again. I think it's fortunate that it's new construction. It's fortunate there's good brush clearance around the home itself. And because of that, there's really not much of a concern in the way of that fire spreading, and that allows them to take their time a little bit more. There was talk maybe of LA County Fire making a water drop, but we don't see them yet. So we'll have to see how this plays out. We hope there's no one else that has been affected or injured or, has been shot and killed. At this point, they haven't got inside the house, so they're not certain exactly what they're dealing with. But they're going to take their time. We'll push into the Bearcat. They are getting ready to approach, and we expect that approach to happen at any time now. Go back to the home. Yeah, absolutely. It looks like new construction. It's more of a modern type structure. It may be built out of a lot of concrete and stone, it appears. You have a fire that breaks out like that. In most homes, it would engulf the entire home, depending on what type of combustibles are inside. If it's fully furnished, that kind of thing, it could take off rather quickly. But this started on the eastern edge of that home, and it really hasn't spread. Now, we're seeing a little more smoke on the right side of your screen. It may be traveling across the attic, and we may see this flare up. There hasn't been a lot of wind, but yet definitely it is a newer, you can see inside the home. Yeah, it certainly is modern. It appears to be a lot of stone. That may be stucco on the outside, but there it goes. I think we are going to see this take off. So it looked like that wasn't a concern. Now it appears that it's going to be, and it wouldn't surprise me if they make a water drop from a helicopter here so that the authorities can approach a little safer. Yeah, that appears to be a barn. Yeah, and then the home is a little closer to us. It doesn't look like there's a lot of threat yet with the ranch owners here and their livestock and the horses. There could be, though, if this fire starts to take off. And it does appear that it's spreading across the attic, and it does appear that it is growing a bit. So we may see this entire structure go, and that will change the procedure as far as them approaching it. There it goes. Yep. Oh, boy. Yeah, it just erupted, and this is going to go quick, I'm afraid. It certainly did take a lot of time for it to spread like this, but now once it has, it looks like it's going to take over that entire structure. Even off to your right, you can see some of the vents. There's some black smoke coming out of them. Open up a little wider. We'll just give you a little perspective, but it looks like this entire structure is going to go. And now you got concern that it spreads to some of the brush surrounding it. There's pretty good brush clearance, but there are some big trees. The little wind that we do have is blowing it away from the other homes and from those barns that we showed you. But certainly, wow, it has just taken off in the last couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I think it just took time. I mean, normally we see a house catch on fire. This one smoldered for a long time before it really spread across the entire home. It got inside the attic, and then it took off fairly quickly. We did just hear moments ago, and we expect to see the Firehawk, the LA County Fire Firehawk. I believe it drops 1,000 gallons of water, and it appears they're going to use that to try and put this fire out. We should see that here in the next couple of minutes, I believe. Open up out of your shot. We'll see if we can fire Copter 15. Give me a right pedal turn. Off to the left. In there somewhere. There you go. Now, there it is. See any movement of the Bearcat, Jamie? All right, yeah, you can go back. Let me know if you see another Firehawk coming in. All right. All right. Yeah, no, I'll mention that because we don't know. We haven't said that, but yeah, that's what it looked like. It didn't have any water in it, and it was just long and rectangular. It looked like possibly a lap pool or something of that nature. But we do have to be careful. We believe that could be the suspect, but it's possible the suspect came to this location killed someone and left this location. All these things are possible. It's interesting, when we first came to this home a little over an hour ago, the fire was burning on the left side, which would be the eastern edge of the house, and it just smoldered there for almost 45 minutes to an hour, and then it erupted. We understand there's some information that there could be some propane tanks inside the home. If this is powered by propane or gets its gas that way, it's unclear exactly what that means, but it did take off. If there's any good news, we pull out of this shot a little bit, it's that this area has burned relatively recently. There's not a lot of fuel here. There's some trees, and we have little to no wind. They did make a helicopter drop and drop some water on the home, but that wasn't very effective. I believe they may make a couple more, but the home is a total loss. They're not going to have to worry about clearing the house, because no one could be alive still inside that home. That will not pose a threat for the sheriff's deputies as they approach, and they may just wait for this to burn itself out. I'm not certain, but you see there on the bottom of your screen now in the center, there's the Bearcat. They've been strategizing. They're coming up with a plan. They're deploying, and at some point they are going to have to approach the house. It's unclear exactly when that will happen. We may see a few more water drops before they do that. But the home certainly did take off. We'll look at that one more time. It is going to be a total loss, and they don't have to worry about anyone inside that home. They don't have to clear it, per se, but that certainly doesn't mean there might not be more threats here. No, it's just been the one, and that wasn't all that effective. It just was not enough water, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see a few more here. They're probably just getting more water, and I believe another one's inbound right now to make another drop. Yeah. Yeah. It's a loss. Stay on that house. Jamie is really going now, man. All right. All right. There you go. No movement as far as the Sheriff's Department. They're not going to move in as long as it's burning like that. But here's another LA County Sheriff's helicopter. They're going to make another drop on the structure. This structure, fire helicopter, excuse me, this structure is going to be a total loss. And the only way they really have to try and knock this down, if you will, is to try and drop water on it. So I would suspect we're going to see more of these drops. There was one made earlier. It didn't have that much of an effect, but it was right before the fire really started to erupt. And now as you look at the house, it's fully engulfed. It's going to be a total loss. Even the helicopter drops will really have a difficult time putting it out altogether. And I think at this point they'll probably wait until this fire has either burned itself out or they've knocked it down with some water drops before they approach. But there is a team ready to do so. But they're certainly going to take their time. And as we watch more and more of this home is engulfed, and it will spread more than likely to the garage here at any moment. We will see a drop, though. That's LA County Fire Helicopter 15 that's going to drop on this in just a moment. Seemed a little high. You don't see what looks like a white Toyota anywhere, huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the correction on the fire helicopter also. Yeah, happens. Thank you. Wonder why they just don't have 3 helicopters out here dropping on this thing. Yeah, I would think it would be fire. Yeah. The dog's really moving. I know. That one, he seems a little scared. So it's moving to the front. Copy. Yeah, it appeared there was a little movement. They may just trying to make sure that people are out of harm's way. We don't see them evacuating the horses, but if we push back into the structure, it is slowly moving to the front of the home. And if you were with us earlier, it was the back of the home where it started. The fire just smoldered for a long period of time, and then it just erupted. More than likely, it'll head towards the garage here in a moment, and the entire structure will be lost. Now, we did see another helicopter drop. LA County Fire came in and made a drop. We understand a couple more helicopters may be en route to make more drops. At this point, though, it looks like the structure is a total loss. We also heard that some of the sheriff's deputies may escort some firefighters up to the property. So they're really just trying to come up with a strategy right now, the safest strategy possible with the information that they have. But we'll open up out of this shot. This structure looks like it's almost entirely gone. On the top of your screen is the garage. We don't see a white Toyota that we heard mention of in that scanner traffic from earlier. We don't see a vehicle out in front of the home. We did look for that. But the fire is just raging now, and it looks like the entire structure will be engulfed here at any moment, so it could actually burn itself out. And then again, we're certainly fortunate we don't have any Santa Ana winds today, because that would cause some serious problems with this fire spreading. There aren't any adjacent structures right next to it. There is some brush, but there's pretty good brush clearance. But as you can tell, the fire continues to just move forward towards the front of the home, and it'll fully engulf it here in no time. We do expect a couple more water drops to happen sometime soon, though. Yeah. Yeah. Eh, All right. Probably bring Sky Map up for him, I guess. Let him see those streets. Yeah, there you go. Only one? He's back inbound, or we don't know? Seriously? See him? Is that him there? Do you see him on the top of your screen? Okay. Yeah, we don't know. We looked for the vehicle out in front. The garage doors were down. You see an LA County Fire helicopter coming in there, and they're going to make another drop. So hopefully that'll slow this fire down a bit. But it's going to burn through the entire structure. Without boots on the ground, there's no way they're going to be able to knock this down completely. But that was one of the most effective drops we've seen of the three that the helicopter has made. But we were never able to look inside that garage. The garage doors were down, and we do not see the Toyota Tundra anywhere near this. I want to open up out of this shot. We got SkyMap 7 up and show you Bent Spur Drive. This is south of the 14 on what would be the south end of Acton. And fortunately, this home is isolated up on that long driveway and not next close to some of those other homes. That would have been more of an issue, the fire spreading to some other structures, and there's no wind today. We'll push back in. I just wanted to give you some perspective on the streets here, give you an idea exactly where this is. That drop was pretty effective compared to the other two. We do see it did not spread to the garage yet. There's another detached building there off to the right side of your screen. It looks like that is not on fire yet, but it looks like the fire crews right now, besides the helicopter, sheriff's deputies and the boots on the ground, the firefighters, they're content to let this burn. It's not going anywhere. They're going to make some drops from the helicopter. We heard a report that they may escort some firefighters up. The sheriff's department may, but we haven't seen that activity yet. You can see they're deploying there in front of the Bobcat, but they have not moved up the driveway quite yet. You know, besides this home that's going to be a total loss, and besides the fact that the time is on the side of the sheriff's department and the fire department because the fire is not really spreading to any other structures or to the hillside, some more water drops may be effective at this point in time. But the timeline is interesting as far as what we have. The initial reports fired around 10:55, I believe, at the fire station. And then it wasn't long after that that we heard the suspect had started his home on fire. We responded to this scene here on Bent Spur Drive in Acton. There was a small fire burning on the east side of the house. It slowly spread to the entire structure, and fire crews and sheriff's deputies now are just standing by, getting ready to approach. You see a lot of the neighbors have come out on the street to try and see what's going on. There's some people may have a hard time getting to their homes, or maybe some also that have been evacuated. There's some ranch-style homes in this area. There are some horses very close to that property. But as we open up and show you the house once again, it really has not spread to anything but that structure, and we're fortunate there's no wind, that it hasn't moved towards any other buildings. And so I think really time is on the side of the sheriff's department. They believe it is the suspect. More than likely it is the suspect, but you can never be sure. We did see what appeared to be a man down in what appeared to be some type of water feature, maybe a lap pool. And the information they had, they believed it might have been a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And now you see the home is collapsing in on itself. Once the roof collapsed, it really started to take off. They've made 2 water drops, 3 actually. They'll probably make a couple more. The last one was very effective. So hopefully they can get the fire out. That's one less thing they'll have to deal with. And then I think they'll approach the home and they'll start their investigation. But the home is a total loss. They're not going to save any portion of that home, it doesn't appear. Yeah, it doesn't appear that they believe that that's a threat that's going to move over to that area. They may have evacuated some of the people out if we get a tight shot. They haven't moved the horses out. We saw a dog running around a moment ago. We also saw a sheriff's deputy with a canine unit walking into the property. So they may be trying to clear this adjacent property. Right now, it doesn't appear they need to get the livestock or the horses out of there, although there's a trailer, and they may be putting some horses inside there as a precaution. But if we just give you a wide shot, you sort of get the idea exactly what they're dealing with. There's little to no wind. The fire is moving away from those corrals and those barns, if you will. And this fire is going to run out of fuel. It's going to burn through this home, and there'll be nothing left to burn. A few more water drops may actually put it out. And then at that point, I think the sheriff's department is going to actually approach.